Alrighty, y'all. So a lot of people have been saying in my comment section that they don't have crown, and obviously, when I do my showcases for the brand new character, I cannot expect everybody to have all the characters I have or all the characters the person I'm on their account has to do the showcase. I'm one multi away from Little Mermaid, y'all. But obviously with Mihara as well, I have to like be smart. I can't just go ahead and pity Little Mermaid because Mihara is coming as well, and Mihara is going to be probably the best DPS in the game, and she's a machine gun character. But back to the topic, right? A lot of people are saying they do not have crown. So this video, as you guys read from the title, no crown, no problem. I'm going to be doing multiple team showcases in this video with Little Mermaid and different characters you can use with her and DPSs that are not crown. And I'm also going to try to exclude favorite item Helm in some of these as well, because a lot of you guys are also saying you don't have favorite item Helm, even though that is a character you can pity, right? If you guys did not already know this, I don't think anybody would do it just because Little Mermaid is in the game. But with the Drake event, they have given you, first off, with this new Drake event, the Road to Villain, they give you items that upgrade favorite items. They give you the materials there. And then from this favorite item selector, you are able to get Helm from this if you go ahead and use your 200 golden tickets. So just remember that. And then if you want dupes as well for them, you can go ahead and buy dupes for them with silver tickets. So Helm, there's no excuse for Helm. If you don't want to use your golden tickets on Helm, then you don't have to. But you do have a way of getting her guaranteed like that. For Crown, it's a different story. So I'm going to be doing team showcase with Little Mermaid and no crown, but still showing you guys how good this character can be without crown. So let's get into it. Alright, so for our first team, we're going here with Mast and Anchor, Maid, Mast and Anchor. I think one thing that a lot of people forget is that Little Mermaid is a support. So you do not need to have one specific support for Little Mermaid. You actually want Little Mermaid with any other supports that are viable, or at least decent with, you know, the DPSs. That's one thing. You don't need to have Crown for Little Mermaid. Yes, Crown is Little Mermaid's best partner in terms of their synergy for your DPSs, but you do not need to have crown. So we're going to go in here with this team right here, which is going to be a very viable team. I actually want to go ahead and go into the boss stage where we have Scarlet and Brady. Both of these two characters have distributed damage. Not only that, Mast and Anchor have a lot of buffs, right? Distributed damage buffs, attack damage buff, reload speed buff. These are all things that replace what crown is doing. So if you don't have crown and you want to use this kind of comp, go ahead and use it. You don't even have to use Brady on the team, right? I just put Brady on the team to make use of the distributed damage buff, but you can use anybody. You can use Cinderella, you can use Rappy, you can use Red Hood. Use whoever you want to use realistically when it comes to your DPS. And remember, this character is a supporting character, right? Right, boom. So after the first burst skill there, remember by the third burst skill, we are fully stacked with Mast and Anchor, right? But you're going to see pop off, right? Let's see them pop off. Let's see them pop off. Boom, boom, and look, right? 452 million from Scarlet Black Shadow, 106 million from Little Mermaid, right? And then the next burst skill, we're going to have Brady go ahead and use her burst skill, which I want to see what Brady's going to as well. So Brady's at 69 million right now. So from 69 million to what? Let's take a look. Brady's going from 69 million with this team comp to 170 million, which is 101 million more damage, right? But you can see Little Mermaid and Scarlet Black Shadow and even Brady, this composition is doing damage. And again, like I said, you don't have to use Brady. Had I take Brady off this team and put in a proper, not a proper, but like a better DPS, we would have been way better, way better. So this is one comp you can use. This is a comp you can use. You do not need to have crown. Remember what the title says: no crown, no problem. I don't think these teams are going to be as powerful as Crown, but you cannot expect to not have the best synergy partner, which is Crown, and then expect to still be hitting as hard as Crown. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't have Crown and I have this support, don't expect me to hit as hard as Little Mermaid and Crown with Little Mermaid and the support you're using, right? Honestly, with this team specifically, I probably could have gotten a lot more damage, because again, like Brady is at 400 and what 5 million. Little Mermaid is hitting harder than Brady, but at the same time Little Mermaid is more powerful than Brady. But like I said, Brady doesn't need to be on this team. I was just trying to make use of distributed damage. She does not need to be on this team, because Mast and Anchor both do give the buffs that Crown give as a whole, right? Just so anybody's wondering, what does Anchor do? She does give, what is it? She heals and stuff like that. But on her skill 2, that's an attack buff, a reload speed buff, and that's for 15 seconds. So again, basically permanent, right? And then a hit rate buff. And then on her burst skill, she does give an attack buff again to all allies. And then when you go to Mast, her burst skill, she gives an attack buff that multiplies by her drunken stat, which goes up to 3, an attack damage buff, and a crit damage buff. And then on her skill 2, she gives her distributed damage buff and a reload speed buff. And then on her skill 1, an attack buff permanently and a crit rate buff permanently. This is what I mean. Mast and Anchor work very, very well with this character. Right? These are just little things you guys got to realize. So there's one composition already where no crown, no problem, right? I am going to try more different teams that work with Little Mermaid and no crown. And as you guys see, Helm is not on this team as well. Favorite item Helm could have went on this team as well, actually. Right, I could have put favorite item Helm on this team as well. Just where Brady is, because favorite item Helm does do good damage herself. So I could have put favorite item Helm right where Brady is and probably gotten away with it as well. And remember, Mast and Anchor are characters you can get from your wish list. And also modes and stuff like that as well, right? This is still going to be an RNG game, so if you don't have these supports and if you don't have crown, it's okay. There's always Mari as well, which I know people who just started the game is not going to have, so I'm kind of like dreading showcasing Mari in this video, just because it's like she's a collab character. I know new players are not going to have a collab character. I understand it, right? But anybody who has been playing since before this anniversary, anybody who's been, the Evangelion collab happened twice and recently, right? It happened at the end of last year and the start of this year, so it happened twice. If you've been playing during that period, you should have Mari, especially since I did make a Should You Summon video, both of them saying, yeah, this character is going to be a good, like, you know, sub replacement for crown for the people who do not have crown. But if you guys take a look at their damage, our overall damage is 6.2, 6. Oh, we might hit 7 billion. I think that's what we're going for. 7 billion damage with this comp, which is not bad, right? Who's using their burst skill? It's going to be Brady then, right? We're at 7 billion damage with this comp. And let's take a look at the overall number at the end, actually. I want to see what the overall number at the end is going to be. So 7.2 billion with this team comp, right? 13 million is what his best is. Without his best, this is 7.2 billion. Sure. 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion, and 4.1 billion. And again, like I said this whole time, you did not need Brady. We could have probably got higher without Brady. But again, no crown, no problem. There are other options. So let's try another team. All right, so we have this team as well, right? I want to take us back to 2023. I think this is when these two characters came out. But Tia and Naga, right? Remember, when Tia and Naga came out, they were the best support for giving you the most damage possible. And if you still want that, right, you can go ahead and use that. They have fallen off compared to the newer supports we have gotten together, but they're still very good together, right? So Tia, Little Mermaid, because you need another burst one regardless by using Naga and Tia, and then your two DPSs being whoever, in our case is going to be Cinderella and Ayn, you should be fine, right? No crown, no problem. And again, there are a lot of different team comps that I am purposely forgetting to use, or not forgetting to use, not using in this video, just because I don't think a lot of people are going to have said characters because they're collabs or limited characters, right? But you can go ahead and use this character, right? Boom, Tia, boom, boom. Okay, now Cinderella's at 33 million, right? Before her burst skill. Let's see what she goes to after her burst skill. 33 million from Cinderella to what number? Let's see how powerful this is going to be. 33 million to 569 million. with this team comp, right? And I put Ein on the team, who I do find Ein to be quite powerful myself, right? I do find Ein to be quite powerful myself. Remember, Little Mermaid helps out Tia here with her cooldown reduction as well, if you did not know that. Okay, but Ein is at 100 and I think that's 94 million, 194 million to what? 194 million to what? I don't know if she's gonna pop off. I should have put on Summer Anise, but she's a limited character. 194 million to 458 million. There you go. No crown, no problem. No crown, no problem. There's never an excuse, especially when it comes to a support. You don't need to have, and mind you, I haven't used favorite item Helm in any of these two teams so far, right? I'm sorry, but you just do not need to have crown, or you don't need to have crown, and you don't need to have Helm. They would be preferred. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If you had crown, if you had favorite item Helm, they would be preferred to be used with Little Mermaid. But you don't need. What is Little Mermaid's damage? 186. You can see, I mean, with this type of team, why wouldn't it be? There's a rocket launch, 2 rocket launchers, and 2 snipers. Of course, Little Mermaid's damage is not going to be the best because she's the only one who's really contributing to 500 normal attacks, right? Realistically, like in terms of getting it as fast as possible. But other than that, I don't see why you wouldn't want to use it. Look at it. What? I'm telling you, Little Mermaid is too good as a character by herself. She's helping Tia with her cooldown reduction, so you're getting your burst skill almost instantly regardless with them. She's helping out with your damage. She's helping out with your burst gauge filling. I don't think people realize how powerful Little Mermaid is as a solo character. She's doing something that you would need usually 3 supports on your team to do. On average, before she came out, I needed like 3 different supports to be able to do this. Genuinely, because there was no character in the game like it. There was no character in the game like it. This is just not normal. This is not fair. Like, I'm sorry. There's no excuse. We'll do probably one more team after this team, right? With, again, different characters, right? You can even use Blanc and Noir probably. I just don't find Blanc and Noir personally. I do not find Blanc and Noir to be as crazy in terms of like damaging. I think they're great for sustain and stuff like that. But in terms of damaging buffs, I don't really find them to be all that crazy personally. But look at the damage from these two. 1.7 billion from Ein, 3.4 billion from Cinderella. Ein is a regular character. That's not a pilgrim. You can get every single one of these characters from the wish list as well. There's no more excuses for pilgrims. You can get them from the wish list. Sure, it's not guaranteed the pilgrim you want, but you are able to get them from the wish list without like saying, oh, I got Isabel when I wanted my pick. No, if you set your pilgrim wish list, you're guaranteed one of the 5 pilgrims you set. And those 5 pilgrims could either be Rappy, Red Hood, Cinderella, Crown, or even Little Mermaid and Mihara now. When they go away, you can add them to your wishes as well. There's no more excuse, y'all. Look at this, 8 billion I think we're going to get to. We're probably going to get to 8, maybe 9 billion. I doubt it. I doubt we're going to get a whole nother billion in 10 seconds. I mean, we could. Let's take a look. Are we going to get another billion in 10 seconds? With Cinderella using her burst skill? Maybe. I don't think. Oh, maybe. We could. No, I don't think so. We got close, though. We did get really close to it. 8.7 billion is what we ended up getting. 12 billion is with his best team. 8.7 billion is what we got with this team. Again, that's good. Even Naga herself, 600 million is pretty good. But she has type advantage and stuff like that. But yeah, no crown, no excuse. All right, so this is going to be the last team I'm showing without crown. I am putting favorite item Helm on this team for the sake of nothing but heals for Asuka. But with this team, Grave, if you guys don't know, Grave gives a crazy attack damage buff on her burst skill, and she can use that every burst rotation. She gives a 46% attack damage buff and then a 38% pierce damage buff to the people who need pierce, right? That's what she gives to all allies. Not to mention, I think on her skill 1, she gives more of a pierce damage buff to all allies when in the heat emission status. So There is that, right? Other than that, she's not really buffing up anybody else, but 46% attack damage buff every burst rotation is crazy. And with Grave, Helm, and Little Mermaid, you're getting your burst skill almost instantly. So let's go ahead and take a look, right? We're gonna have to use auto Alice for this because one, I don't like using Alice, and two, this is just to show you guys what it's looking like. Remember, these are not the best teams. Like, I'm not trying to show you guys the best teams in the game, but these are teams you can use. These are teams you can use, right? Or not even teams you can use, but supports you can use, right? I'm not trying to say these are meta teams, but like, okay, wait, she's at 19 million. I just want to see what she's going to, because that Alice is looking a bit crazy. Not like, you know, mouse click spam Alice crazy, but she is looking a bit crazy. To 388 million or 8 million, I can't really see that number. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't see that. It's too small. But your burst generation is gonna go quick with this team, right? There's Grave, and then Asuka. Remember, Asuka gets the pierce effect when you use her burst skill. That's the only reason why I'm using her. And Asuka gives herself a crazy attack buff when using or when she gets healed, right? The thing is, the DPSs I use for these showcases don't matter as much, right? It's more just showing the character with the characters, or the supports with the type of characters that they be supporting, right? For example, Grave supports Alice and Grave supports Asuka, right? You don't need to use both of them. I'm just putting on Pierce characters. You can replace these two with Red Hood or even Laplace, right? You don't need to use these characters for these teams. Now, again, I'm not trying to show you guys meta breaking teams, right? Meta broken teams would be with the best characters and stuff like that, right? But this is, you know, a team that personally, I think if you were spamming with Alice like that crazy click spam, it would be a lot better. I'm not doing that, but Alice is a very powerful character. So is Asuka. I mean, look at Asuka damage right here is looking a bit atrocious. So sorry, I'm just curious. What is Asuka's build here? 8, 9, 7. And I know Asuka had gear. Let me go to Helm actually, because that should help with burst generation as well. Just faster burst generation, right? And remember, by spamming these burst skills, right, by getting out of the burst skill and entering the burst skill as fast as possible and going right back into a burst, you're getting a lot of damage going, because a lot of these characters only do perform when using their burst. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these characters only perform when using their burst skill. So it's like, we're wasting no time, right? We're getting a lot of damage off, but we're wasting no time. This team is probably going to perform the worst out of all three of the teams you guys have seen in this video, just because, like, it's also kind of thing. I could have put Alice there, or not Alice. I could have put Red Hood there. I could have even put Rappy there. Even though Rappy doesn't have a pierce buff, I could have put Rappy there. I'm gonna be honest. You don't need these DPSs. I didn't need Alice there. I didn't need Asuka there. I just put them there so you guys can, I can get more use of the support. But if I'm using Grave for solely just her attack damage buff of 45% or 46%, that's fine as well. All right, sure. If I'm not using her pierce buffs, I'm not wasting the character. I kind of am, but it's not that big of a deal. Like, I can use Grave and not have any pierce characters on my team just for solely that 45% attack damage buff that I'm getting every single burst with this type of team as well. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta look outside the box, right? Don't feel like you cannot use Grave if you're not using her with pierce characters, because I'm sorry, her attack damage buff is quite big. A 46% attack damage buff is quite big. I'm sorry, it is big. And so it's like, yeah, but we're probably gonna get 5 billion with this team, which honestly, for this account, I don't think 5 billion is anything to like jump crazy. Yeah, I think the other two teams with their I think 8 billion and whatever the other number was, those were good. But let's take a look. Right, we are getting as much as we possibly can, though. We are getting as much burst skills as we possibly can out, which is good. Like, our last burst skill is going to freaking Alice here, which is okay. And again, I'm not using manual Alice. If I was using manual Alice, I can get a lot more damage out, right? I can get a lot more damage out. So it's like, it is what it is. But almost 6 billion to 12 billion, that's, yeah, no. But 3 billion, 1.5 billion, 600 million, and 446 million, 558 or 68 million, right? there's other options. The moral of the story, moral of the video, there are other options. If you do not have crown, you don't need to worry. Hopefully this video alone can help you guys get more ideas of different team comps, right, between the supports I've shown you and then all the other teams in the other videos. If you do have crown but don't have set character, hopefully this video could help you guys, but I'm just trying to show that there are other options. So if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe and like it. Your boy Zxous, I'm out. Peace.